Leona here. Not exactly my best, but I'm just really after being assaulted by a Latino on Sunday. I'm having terrible headaches, dizziness from the concussion. My appetite is all over the place, but what's new? So I just saw the trailer of How to Train Your Dragon. Absolutely loved the films. Watched every single one of them. Everybody wants a dragon. But being me, I can never see it as only a film. So instead of seeing it as a film, I saw it as, wow, are musicians and actors dragons to regular people? I don't consider myself an actor. I'm just a musician. I have to admit that I am a musician. I make music. But is that something that people fear? Not all musicians are pure of heart. That is certainly true. And they wield lots of power. Even though some of them barely use it. Oh. Hello there. So, with the headaches and everything that's going on, hello White 999. Hello Franco. Hola. Hello. I have a Patreon. It's in my description. I encourage my fans to check out my music. Hello there, new people. I'm gonna call you Rip Van Winkle because just it's cool to have people in my chat. So I have some new music coming out, and normally I do sing-alongs, but hopefully I can get this to play. I want to premiere it right here, right now. Hopefully you like it. Let's see, it should be this. How's everyone doing in the chat? I'm exhausted. I just came from a movie premiere yesterday, and it was in the rain. And all they did was just pump air conditioning on you when you're already wet, and everybody else was wearing regular clothes that would dry out properly. I'm in a skin tight costume, so I guess I'm a little like out of my sorts. Oh, so it does play. So yeah, this is my new song that's playing right now. I'm gonna let my fans enjoy.
But every time I think of you, I get so. It took a week where the kisses love me. We never thought you should beside me. But every time I think of you, I get so. You set my hips on fire to the rhythm of desire. I let the flames burn higher and higher. You set my hips on fire to the rhythm of desire. I let the flames burn higher, higher.
So yeah, that's a sample of my new single that should be coming out probably within a week. So look for it. The name of the single is Week, Week. And I don't know, I hope people enjoy it because I don't know if I can continue doing music in America. I'm constantly being attacked, I'm constantly having my PTSD triggered. And the Latino community and I are just not seeing eye to eye on anything. And I hate to be that person going, Latino this, but what can I do? Hi, AS, nice to meet you. No, I'm gonna hold a mirror to that community every single day until I receive justice. Because every time that a Latino attracts a transgender, it reinforces this idea that that's an okay thing to do in America. I don't know what you did in your home countries, but when you come to America, you will treat Americans with respect. And I mean, by Americans, I mean everyone, because I'm just as Latino as the person who attacked me, but Latinos forget their history. They just forget their history. In the Native American, First Nation, indigenous cultures that they came from, there were transgender people. There were people of multiple sexual orientations, and they formed a bond with the community. They served a purpose for the community. Not everyone in the Aztecs, in the Incas, or the Mayans picked up a spear and went hunting. Some non-binary people stayed behind, stayed in the village. They wore women's clothing and they picked up a mortar and pestle. So when those fuckers came back from the fucking forest with the meat after being gored by a wild boar, they were able to heal them with their own arts. Never forget the sacrifice that non-binary people and transgender people made for the indigenous cultures of Aztecs, Mayans, and the Incas. Know your history, Latinos. That is your history. None of you would even be here if it wasn't for the fact that some men or women took non-gender roles well, non-gender specific roles. I mean, when you think about hunter or healer, that really should be a non-gender specific role, but At a certain point, people started thinking that way. And I don't know, maybe it's because the Latinos got suckered into Christianity that they lost sight of who they are inside. I don't care if people, yeah, I don't care if people like what I have to say or dislike what I have to say. I'm just gonna keep saying it because I'm sick and tired of Latinos trying to say, "Oh, well, we're advocating for change." It's like you're not advocating for enough. You're not advocating for enough change because transgender people are being attacked by Latinos. So we're we're at an impasse because I am stuck in this Latino neighborhood and they don't like transgender people here. And LA has not given me what I needed in order to leave this area properly. So at the end of this month, I'm just going to get on a plane and go to another country because I'm done trying to make LA anyway something that it isn't. LA is a terrible place that does not accept transgender people. Just doesn't. I mean, Hollywood loves transgender people. I'm talking about Netflix, I'm talking about Disney Plus, I'm talking about Amazon Prime. Like you can rise to high heights as a transgender person in America. That is true. But what if you don't want to act? What if you just want to be an environmentalist? What if you just want to be an engineer and you don't want to do anything except focus on community issues? There's a community issue of air pollution in Los Angeles. And if I'm messing up the words, I have a concussion, I have a really bad headache. But I said I would do these lives because there is suffering in silence and then there is speaking your mind. And I always advocate for speaking up for yourself. If something makes you uncomfortable, if something offends you as a human being, if your civil liberties are being violated, speak up. Because chances are there are other people whose civil liberties are being in any way impinged upon. And hello, Umar, Shahzad. Nice to have you in my chat. It's just, it's rough. It's rough. I'm so exhausted and I'm not experiencing the city as I'm First Nation, Native American, Indigenous, rocking my Brazilian wear. Because I know where I come from. A lot of these people here, they love to walk down the street, bathed in the flags of their countries, but the countries that you put all over your body, that you talk about, well, I'm from Ecuador, I'm from Peru. It's like, no, you're not. Those are names that you had to carve away from the white people who invaded your lands. That's your history. So when you say that, I'm from, I don't know, Colombia or Argentina, what does that mean? Because do you know that there was a people before that? Do you know that there was a land before that? You can say you're Argentinian now, but that's not who you are. That's not where you come from. Before all of that, maybe the land didn't even have a name. Maybe the land was just its people, and the people lived on that land in harmony with nature, and they had a beautiful civilization. And now you have a Starbucks. No offense to Starbucks, obviously. So we are so far removed from who we used to be that our health suffers from it. So I thank you for the compliment. I appreciate the compliment. I'm trying to look good. I rarely smile because I'm so hurt. I'm hurt and I'm injured, and I want more out of life. Also, I'm a fighter. And I know that I'm saying that I want to flee to another country. I do. But then I also want to be that person who gets in the face of these Latino motherfuckers and say, I am just as Latino as you are. I am transgender. I have a right to board a bus or a train and go to my location and then come back to my place safely. I mean, I'm not asking for much here. But yes, my American civil liberties were being impinged upon by this devious culture of Latinos who don't know their own heritage. What I mean by they don't know their own heritage, I circle back to men and women in our traditional cultures. Before you had something called Mexico, before you had things like El Salvador, you had a culture that said, okay, it's true. Most men are hunters and most women are farmers, or they take care of their kids. But sometimes women will take up the spear and they'll go hunting. And sometimes men will take up the ways of women, learn how to orate, learn politics, learn medicine, things that they used to say, look, you're the ugly woman of this group. Go learn how to grind some herbs. They used to do that. Now, fast forward a couple of years, and people forget that it's transgender people, for the most part, who move culture forward, who set trends, who fight for your rights. I mean, the Stonewall riots that New York and everyone who enjoys gay marriage to this day should recognize the fact that it was a bunch of Black, Latinx, or Latinos, and Asian transgender people who fought for that right, who fought for the right to walk down the street, go to bars, live their lives, live their truths. So, no, I do want to leave America, but I'm not leaving until I get an apology or I get to see that man who attacked me in court. So every day I will fucking post his picture. I will put flyers out, but that man is not escaping justice. And by that man escaping justice, I'm talking about everyone from Mayor Karen Bass to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, because it takes one person to commit a hate crime, but it takes a community to ignore it. It takes a city to have a lack of public resources in order to prevent those things. And it takes a state not to oversee anything that happens here and look at the grand picture of how many statistics there are of transgender people being attacked. So multiple defended as I draft up a court case against the city and state of California, because this is the second time as a transgender person that I've been attacked by this Latino community. And Pakistan is probably a lovely country. I've never been. I don't know it that well. I don't travel that much. I'm a veteran. I live in California. Well, not really live in California. I just say I shelter in California because that's all I can do. Because if I try and go out and do anything, I put my life at risk. Going to this movie premiere just reminded me of why I don't go out to movies. It was a great movie. I saw Captain America Brave New World. It was a brilliant film. Anthony Mackie and the rest of the cast. Harrison Ford, amazing. Just, I love everyone in it. Sebastian Stan, Liv Tyler. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. It's an amazing film. However, I saw it in what I can only describe as the most ghetto of theaters possible. The El Capitan, it's supposed to be a Disney flagship movie theater. Look, if I have to see Thunderbolts or something like that, I'm gonna see it in Disneyland. I'm gonna see it in Disneyland because whatever the El Capitan was, that was a mess. That was a mess. I love the beginning of it because the pomp and circumstance. They had a beautiful organ player. They had this curtain show where every curtain it just brings you. It's things like that that make cinema so amazing, and I love that because you know what? Sometimes you do need that extra step to just take you out of your stress so you can, for one moment, believe that life is okay. But that went out the window when they said, we invited the high school crowd of. Fuck that. Because all they want to do is talk over the movie. All they want to do is just get up out of their seats and run around and blah, blah, blah. And it's. Look, I'm an older person. I'm looking at this and saying, you know, I'm trying to read the subtext between the lines because when Marvel does a film, all they can do is say, you say this line and that's a zinger. That's a great pun. You know, if you just hear the line delivered, you just say, well, that's just a throwaway line. But nothing. See, I can't even talk right now. I mean, nothing they do is ever half-assed. They layers and layers and layers of depth. Layers and layers and layers of depth in every single Marvel film. Some more than others, but yet still, I wanted to understand what is going on behind the story because the story keeps moving and you just leave things behind. You leave characters behind. We lost characters in this and I am so fucking pissed because I was like, I like that character. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, Marvel? I want to see that character in something else. I don't care. Give me that. And they're just like, nah, you don't get that character. Like, ugh. Kevin Feige. Oh, how could you? How could you be so cruel? I wanted that. I don't care if he had 2 lines for the next 20 Marvel films. I wanted him to have 2 lines in every Marvel film. I liked that character. I found him to be cool. God damn it. And I'm not even going to speak on who that is or whatever. If you've seen the film, then you know who I'm talking about. And you would be pissed too. Gosh, I'm super passionate about Marvel, as I clearly wear my Sunspot uniform here. Because I really just, I draw strength from it. I've read the comics since I was a wee child, so here I am, living in Los Angeles, hoping that I could maybe nudge them in the right direction. Foolish, I know, but you did get the Dark Phoenix saga. Finally, you got the Dark Phoenix saga. Because they were gonna dangle that in front of you for what, 60 years? Like it's been coming for quite some time. But we finally got that with X-Men 97, so I'm really happy that we're maybe getting some news stories, because I know I'm supposed to just talk about how much I hate LA, but hi Pixie. I do want to talk about mutants because I'm a mutant. I actually am a mutant, and I'm very different. So I understand what they mean when they say, beware friends of humanity, because humans don't understand that you can try and send gays to conversion camps, you can try and beat down ugly people because they're ugly, but genetically, all of that, it's within all of us. The potential to be beautiful, ugly, gay, straight, it's genetically within all of us. You cannot remove that. There is no specific gay gene. It's just something that is within us to always do. It's something within us that is vital and should be considered important to have in this society. And if America doesn't see it that way, then more people need to speak up. More people need to do podcasts and say, hey, I live here. I pay taxes here. I buy goods and services from these people. They have to respect my civil liberties. They can say whatever they want behind closed doors. They can, disagree with my lifestyle or who I am inside. But if I give you money, and I gave money to the LA Metro, I didn't even get to use my free rides. I actually paid money for LA Metro. I'm going to see them in court over that. I'm going to see them in court because it is criminal negligence not to have a call security button on that platform for when people do not have the ability to use their phone and use the transit app. Because sometimes these incidents that happen because they allow homeless to ride the same public transportation as other people. No. I can't just leave that statement alone because I am homeless on and off again. I'm always homeless, even in my own apartment. I'm homeless because at the end of this month, I'm leaving this, so I'm homeless. But that, I can't even speak. I have a concussion. I have a concussion because a homeless person saw me as a transgender person, tried to sell me drugs, number one, and when I refused, decided to kick and punch me. Being homeless does not give you the right to assault people. Los Angeles, it doesn't give you that right. And Latinos, it doesn't give you the right to beat transgender people. It doesn't give you the right to look away while a transgender person is being assaulted. So here's that mirror, Los Angeles. Here's that mirror, Los Angeles Latinos. As I look at you and I say, you know what? You complain about Republicans. You complain about the bigotry of America, how America hates immigrants, America hates Latino culture, and takes you for granted. Here's that mirror that I'm going to hold up to you as you Latinos have attacked transgender people. You didn't have to, but you did. So here's a mirror as I bring this up to you. I keep saying this because I'm a musician, so I have a great opportunity to engage with people. I'm very fortunate that when I do covers of music, Latin artists have actually said, of course you could do a cover. You know the language, you know our people, you know our culture, you study and relate Latino culture to young people. Please do a cover of our songs. And I say, yes, of course, with all respect and thank you to the Latin artists who have allowed me to do covers of their music. But it's not enough to perform a song when transgender, non-binary people are under attack. So I'm going to hold these conversations often until I see justice. And by justice, I mean that they stop putting sheriffs and police back on trains and all the way through Los Angeles County. Because this whole idea of, we feel guilty that Latinos are so downtrodden in America, so we'll just let this side of the county be lawless. And it's just that's not how things work for me. So I will see the Latino who assaulted me in court. I will see him be punished through the legal system. But I will see Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass in court for how they have handled the LA metro system, that they allow transgender people to be attacked. So I'm looking at my live right now. I want to thank the people who gave me support during this live, because I'm in pain. I have a concussion. My head hurts. It's hard for me to form words correctly. I keep messing up, but I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep trying. I don't care if there are no people in the chat or there are 30 people in the chat. Until I see justice, this is what is going to be, because I will never remain silent while people are being attacked. So when I stand up to Latino culture, I'm standing up for Latino culture, because violence between Latinos should not happen. Not at all. I'm talking about gang violence, and I'm talking about hate crimes. If you have the time and the energy for that, go look at your culture. Look where you come from. Because somehow, under all of the machismo that these Latino people shove in their face, they have forgotten who they are, and they have lost their culture, lost their identity as Latinos. Not the criminalized creatures that America has made of you. So I don't care if people hear the Latino rhetoric that comes out of my mouth and say, wow, that sounds really prejudicial. I don't care because I know that there are transgender boys and girls in the Latino community who need someone like me to say they need a safe place to grow up, a safe place to express themselves and feel that they can do anything. Transgender community leaders, role models, model citizens. That's what we need, especially in the Latino community. Because some Latinos will tell you, why don't you just go sell drugs and you can make tens and thousands of dollars. You can have $1 million. It's like, yeah, you could. Or, I don't know. I mean, it might seem kind of gay to you, but what if you like sewing? What if you like designing clothes? What if you like to cook? Does that mean that you are transgender? Maybe yes, maybe no. But that shouldn't stop anybody. Gay, straight, cisgender, non-binary, transgender. It shouldn't stop anyone from pursuing their passions in life. What makes them happy? If what makes you happy is not socially acceptable for the gender you were born with, who the fuck cares? Now, when this horrible Latino assaulted me, I understood in that moment that it was this, could you butch up? Could you be more masculine? Could you make it easier for me to deal with my own insecurities, my own inadequacies, which led to being homeless? I don't have to apologize for anything. I am who I am. I wear what I want to wear. If I want to wear pants, I wear pants. If I want to wear a dress, I'll wear a dress. And look damn good in it because it'll be designer. Stuff that you people can't afford. And I mean by you people, I mean haters. Haters. Because I think that's the real reason why people dislike transgender individuals. It's not just the gender identity, it's the freedom, the confidence that comes from being who you are without needing the validation of other people. I don't need Americans to like my music. I don't need Americans to approve of what I wear at all. Their opinion doesn't really matter to me. They will respect me and my body by keeping their hands off me. They will respect me by keeping a distance from me. I keep going into it, but LA is big on exposure therapy, and now they keep trying to, you see, I know I'm living in the right state and the wrong state at the same exact time because I come from a medical background and I should have been a doctor. So when I know the psychological torture that I'm going under because I live in California, I can speak about it on YouTube. So when the LA, I don't know who these people are, but when they start combining avoidance therapy and exposure therapy, you know that there's something wrong. But I mean by avoidance therapy is they put you in a situation where something is threatening to you, so you have no choice but to go against something that has already been a negative stimulus to you. For example, after being assaulted by a Latino male, I have a Latino male trying to trespass into the apartment building. And what I mean by trespass is he conveniently was at the intercom and he wasn't being let in. He saw I was trying to get into my apartment building and tried to enter into the lobby behind me, but I closed the door on him because I've just been assaulted. And I don't know this person. This person doesn't live there. It should have been the end of it. But like I said, I didn't feel safe. What is my only recourse? My recourse is to speak to my female building manager and tell her what is going on at the front door of our apartment building. Now, of course, my PTSD goes through the roof, the fact that I have to do this. But of course, I have to do this because I don't want to have future issues with these kind of things. Another reason why, LACTA has been dragging their feet with the whole giving me a voucher thing, but now I just want out the voucher system altogether because that kind of situation, I don't want to be in again. I shouldn't have to say, please just use the intercom. Like, if somebody wants to let you into the building, let them let you into the building by buzzing you in. But if that person's not there, I can't just have you sitting in the lobby. I can't just have you, because it's not a hotel. I mean, it's an apartment building. Now, I know that I live in a Latino neighborhood and these people think that they own the whole fucking block. And I know that that comes a little harsh to say. I don't fucking care. I've just been assaulted by a Latino, so I'm gonna hold everyone fucking responsible for it, because when I was being attacked, everyone else on that platform, they didn't do anything. They didn't call 911. They didn't try to help. I had to defend myself. And I always try to defend myself within the letter of the law. I know that this is an apartment building. I'm not going to agree with this weird hippie commune thing of, well, just be loosey-goosey with it. Get loose with it. I mean, if people want to come into the apartment building and they don't want to talk to you, they just want to walk around, let them walk around. You see, that kind of attitude functions on a hippie commune. Hippie commune. Not some Latin gang-banging neighborhood. Like, if you want to have that attitude of, we don't care about doors and locks, whoa, don't be a square, man. If you want to have that kind of attitude, live on a hippie commune. Me personally, I'm going to keep fighting for my veteran benefits because at this point, America owes me a house. They just do. Because I'm not going to put myself through apartment buildings where I have to say there's no doorman, there's no security, the sheriffs show up and they show up hours afterwards. So the assailants are always, well, I'll just press the emergency door and just run off, and then they never catch them. And I think that's the thing that I want to bring up right now is that every time there is an issue, it's just Get off the bus, get off the train. Oh, you tried to set the bus on fire? Just get off the bus. It's not. Nah, we'll get the police involved. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's true that Madam Web is the best film that ever existed. I don't care if Marvel says that they lost money on that. That movie needs to be watched by everyone. The whole idea of get off the train, he's on the train, that Madam Web, delivers, whatever. There's a point to that. There's a point to why do we risk our lives to use public transportation, go to restaurants and everything? There used to be a time when you could do that. That's not this time, and this is certainly not the city for that. This is, from my perspective, a city that if you live on one side of, I guess, the downtown area, you pretty much stay that way. I talk about the public transit system, but I can only really talk about LA Metro. I don't talk about the Big Blue Bus. I don't talk about the Torrance Transit or the Antelope or anything like that. I don't talk about Metrolink. Because once you get out of these kind of neighborhoods, you see a difference. You really do. People aren't doing meth on the trains. They're, I don't know, reading a book, watching a movie on their phone. So I refuse to let a hate crime turn me into a racist against my own people. If anything, I would rather replace my anger, my rage, with pity. How sad it must be to be trapped in one gender expression, trapped in a distorted cultural image forced upon you for generations, that you forget who you are and where you come from. I pity Latinos right now because I don't think they understand their own cultural identity. I think that when you go to American schools, you're not being given everything that you need in order to be your true, authentic self. I think you're actually missing things out. I'm sorry, you're missing out on things. Oh, I really need to. I have a concussion, so if I get things wrong, I just get things wrong. But I think that Latinos growing up are missing out on their cultural history, their cultural practices, their traditional foods, and they're just being anglicized instead of being true to the culture that is within us as Latinos. So I pity Latinos who didn't grow up knowing their cultural history. Because a lack of understanding of your cultural history leads to rage. And I'm sure that rage could be shoved onto other people, but I think that rage is self-directed. Like you just internalize all that. Because all I can think is how sad it must be to think that your life has no value, that you either use drugs or you sell drugs. How low did this poor Latino man have to sink that drugs are more important to him than finding self-worth? I pity that Latino man. I'm angry, yeah, but I pity him. Maybe before he became a drug dealer and before he became homeless, there might have been other opportunities for him. There might have been things that he was good at, but maybe someone told him that's kind of gay, or no, you have to do this. And so somehow he became lost. And when you are off the path of who you're supposed to be, you suffer. You suffer, everyone else suffers. Now to circle all the way back to Marvel, this is why I enjoyed the whole Loki series, because finally, someone is talking about variants and multiverse. I did a whole dissertation when I was in high school on bifurcation theory, or the idea that decisions cause fractures in timelines. The idea that there is one set path for an individual is always wrong. I love that NBC did that show of like Ordinary Joe. I forget the name of the show, but the premise of the show was it was one guy and he had multiple lives that he was living, and you got to see how those lives were playing out. So in one, he was a doctor, one, he was a musician, and I think the other, I think he was like a cop or something like that. And just the bounce back and forth between all of it, it made me realize that are those three professions that dissimilar that you couldn't just combine them and say that they're the same person? When you're a musician and you take on social issues, are you not defending your people? Are you not defending your country when it comes down to things like oppression? When you write a love song for someone, or you talk about how you overcome addictions or you overcome heartache, does that not heal a person when they hear it too? And they understand what's going on with the words, and they have the strength to go through one more day because of their song? Doctors use music just as much as a musician does to heal. Doctors use music to put themselves into a flow state during surgery. A playlist of songs that keep them in a happy, well-focused mood so that they can do extraordinary things to save lives. Those are amazing doctors, but those are also amazing musicians. Musicians saving your life, doctors saving your life through music, police officers. When they take an abusive boyfriend and put him in jail, are they not healing you from, having your arm broken again or another black eye? I mean, they're not exactly, pulling out a tambourine and a xylophone in order to stop crime, but just the freedom to go through another day without being abused. You can listen to music, so in a way, they help music. So why is it in cultures like this where we say we have to choose? I mean, it's true, unless you're really, really, really good, it's very, very difficult to be anything, a musician, a police officer, or a doctor. That shouldn't stop you, though. I agree, if you need something like life extending surgery, you should have the best doctor. But sometimes you just need a doctor who can say, let's look at the facts of what's going on here and give me your history. And hey, by the way, what is your normal nutritional intake? What are you bringing into your body? Now, an excellent doctor would probably ask the same exact thing, but an excellent doctor might just wait until you have high cholesterol in order to bring down your cholesterol by doing a quadruple bypass. Just a mediocre doctor could tell you, okay, why don't you stop taking in bad cholesterol? Why don't you do more exercise in your life? Police officers, there's not enough of them. There just aren't. And I love how LA Metro is trying to save money by saying, well, we have Metro ambassadors. It's like, is that the same exact thing as having a police officer who's 6 foot and 250 pounds of pure muscle? Because when homeless are attacking people, I don't think the Metro ambassadors are going to do much besides, press a button or something like that. So, yeah, I appreciate the Metro Ambassador program because if somebody needs to ask for directions or whatever, but it's not the same exact thing as putting police officers on these trains. And you know that. You just thought that by doing an ambassador program that you wouldn't have to pay for police officers. I see through you, California. I really do. So that's my podcast for today, as I once again talk about the abuse that I have to go through living in Los Angeles. There's a link in the description for my Patreon. I'm trying to emigrate to another country. There's going to be a lot of fees for that. as I seek refugee status. But until I have refugee status, I'm always going to be a champion of Latino culture, a historian of Latino culture, and an advocate for change, because when we have a united Latin culture, we are stronger together. So, as angry as I am at Latinos for what they did to me, I'm going to replace that anger with pity and compassion. This is Ian Iliana of I Hate LA. Love me anyway.